Hey, I'm Randy Younger, New York City's go to film enthusiast. Every week, I dive deep into the world of cinema with special guests from the New York City film scene. Whether I'm interviewing industry insiders or comparing the latest releases, there's always something for every movie lover. Join me as I explore the magic of film and discover what makes these movies unforgettable. Hey guys, Brandon Younger here. I'm in the Radar where we talk all things film, and this is the third part of our Rattling the Cage series where we deep dive into the work of Mr. Nicholas Kim Coppola, or Nicolas Cage to everyone else who knows him. And with me tonight, I have one of my favorite guests, one of my favorite humans on this planet, Mr. Tyler Michael. Welcome back to the show, Tyler.
Thank you, Randy, and the feeling is mutual on my end.
Love it, love it. You're so cool. You are just so awesome, and I'm excited to continue our discussion. It's kind of like an eternal discussion of Nicolas Cage because he's given us so much great work, some not so great work, but even the not so great work is kind of intriguing. And he always gives a unique performance. You want to know where he's going to take you on his artistic journey. And this is our third part in the series, and we are going to discuss two more of his films, two very different films, but two films I'd say that showcase his great and unique talent. These two films are, of course, Moonstruck from 1987, and then we're going to follow that up with Gone in 60 Seconds from 2000. Two very different movies, but both very enjoyable, and I am excited to talk about them with you tonight, Tyler. So let's get into it.
All
Are
right, let's
you
get into it.
ready to go? Oh,
Absolutely.
cool, cool.
Absolutely.
All right. So Moonstruck came out in 1987, and it is directed by the great Norman Jewison, and it basically stars Cher in a fantastic performance, I must say, as an Italian-American woman from Brooklyn who finds herself in a very precarious situation. She's engaged to Danny Aiello in the film, but she actually falls in love with Danny Aiello's younger brother in the film, played by a volatile and passionate Nicolas Cage. I believe he was about 22, 23 in this film. And, it's a story of love, obviously, and morals, and basically the dilemma that comes from falling in love, what your priorities are to those who love you, those your family. This is a very strong family film, which I absolutely loved, and it also stars a great Vincent Gardenia, also Olympia Dukakis, who also won an Oscar in this film. I'm not sure if I just mentioned that Cher won an Oscar in this film, 1987, but yeah, she won Best Lead Actress. Dukakis won Best Supporting, and I think that everyone in this cast is brilliant. Cher and Cage are they have an electric romantic chemistry. I can't take my eyes off of them whenever I see them on screen together, especially when she slaps him, snap out of it. And that is one of the most iconic lines uttered on film. And it's a beautiful film. It showcases New York as well as basically as a character itself. It's a great backdrop for any romantic story, any love story. And yeah, this is Moonstruck. I love it. I remember seeing it for the first time maybe when I was a kid. Saw it a couple of times after that, and then I rewatched it the other day, and I fell in love with this story. So yeah, it's Moonstruck from 1987. Tyler, I'm excited right now to hear your thoughts.
Thank you. Well, actually, I kind of grew up with Moonstruck. When I
Mhm.
was a kid, my parents had a VHS tape of Moonstruck, and my dad drew a little moon on the actual tape just to make it stand out. I only caught the ending scene when I was a kid to the end credit scene where they play "That's Amore," where you see the full moon, which to me is an image that will never leave my mind. It was a song that really, I know it didn't originate from the film, but I would dare say this film helped popularize the song,
Mhm.
and it became one of the songs that I would be singing all throughout my time. And when I was in my middle school years, when I became more interested in film than usual, I was really entertained by it. I was very captivated by the characters, the dilemmas. And the older I get, the film just gets richer and richer and
Yes.
richer. And not only that, my family immensely loves this movie.
Hmm.
Like 100% obsess over it.
Okay.
And I've had the experience to watch it with my divorced parents separately and had a lovely time just relating to how they relate to the movie, whether it's the opera culture of the film, whether it's New York, whether it's the characters, whether it's the humor. This film has a lot of nostalgia riding off of me. And I think in my later years, it has become more profound than ever. And
Mhm.
watching this again was a real, real treat. If you were to ask me what was one of my top 10 favorite romantic comedies, it would definitely be Moonstruck. It's also one of my favorite comfort films of all time.
Hmm.
As the film does deal with challenging issues such as, aging, cheating, and all that stuff, the film still has characters that you feel are relatable, understandable, and in many ways still likable. They're just making poor decisions and they're just in a state of confusion, just like the old man, the grandpa, who is always getting confused.
Yeah.
It's just a very quotable movie with very
Right.
powerful performances, and this was my exposure to Nick Cage, so I'm
Nice.
glad that this film was what introduced me to him.
Now, Tyler, remind me, I'm so sorry. Do you have Italian heritage or any Italian blood? I'm just curious.
A little bit on my
Okay.
father's side, yes.
Okay.
I mean, my father is also Czechoslovakian, but he's also part Italian,
Okay.
and on my mom's side, I'm mainly German.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just curious, someone from an Italian background, how they respond to this film, how they identify with the themes and just the whole notion of family and how important it is to keep the family together. So I was just curious if you had any strong feelings in regards to that.
Well, again, my family's not 100% Italian.
Okay.
Or like I don't even know if I would say that we're 80% Italian.
Okay.
So, but the way they cook, the way they argue, the way they, worry about certain things, I can relate to that in a sense. I
Okay.
mean, really what brings this film to me, what really clicks with me is the whole family dilemma. Like the performances, while funny, just feel very authentic. These
Yeah.
characters don't feel like just characters. They feel like actual people I could sit down, have dinner with, go to the opera with, have a conversation with,
Yeah.
and I do think this film really knows how to play the love cards. Like I'm really surprised how well it holds up as a love story.
Yeah. It's a love story across different generations, different
Hmm.
personalities. I love there's a very small scene between Olympia Dukakis and John Mahoney from Frasier. And
Mm.
he's walking her home. It's cold. And he says, "Oh, I'm a little cold." And she says, "You're a little boy." The writing in this film, superb. Brilliant, brilliant dialogue. It is truthful. It is from a screenwriter, John Patrick Shanley, who actually went on to direct one of my favorite romantic comedies ever, Joe versus Volcano, with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. And that also featured the moon pretty prominently, actually. And his writing here is so good. He really knows how to write characters authentically, and he knows a good love story. He knows what he's doing, and this film is no exception. I believe he won the Oscar as well for Best Original Screenplay, and deservedly so. This film, I love it so much. Just I love the subplots of all the cheating and the unrequited love. And at the center of it all is Cher, who gives a brilliant performance. Um,
Hmm.
I really don't know much about her acting work. I'll be honest with you. I really know more of her music.
Same here.
Yeah. Um, but she like came out of no, I'm sure at the time, 1987, she came out of nowhere with this brilliant performance on camera, and they awarded her the Oscar, and I think she deserved it, more than any of the other nominees that year. She was just brilliant.
Well, she didn't really come out of nowhere in 1987, if you don't mind me saying. She did have a career in movies, one of them being Silkwood, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Um, But this
Huh.
film really, cemented her as an actress. And also she did Witches of Eastwick, I believe that same year or year
That's
prior.
right. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot. That's a fun movie too, by the way. We may have to discuss that in a later episode, actually.
I
Uh,
would love to. I've been meaning to see it.
Yeah, but I really knew Cher for her music. Obviously Sonny and Cher. She has a great career, I believe, starting in the '60s, and 20 years later, she gives us this gem of a performance, and I think I again, I could not take my eyes off her. She's not just a beautiful woman, but she's got charisma and personality, and just to bring it back to Nicolas Cage, her scenes with him are really fantastic. Cage was very young in this, and Cher actually saw the potential of Cage after seeing him in Peggy Sue Got Married the year before, in which he played a very
Hmm.
kind of a goofy teenager in the 1950s who falls in love with Kathleen Turner, which I watched last night actually, and that's another great film, I must say, but that's another episode. And Cher basically recommended Cage to Norman Jewison, the director, and thought he would be perfect. I also want to mention here that there were a number of other notable actors at the time that were considered for the role of Ronnie, and those were so Ray Liotta actually auditioned, but the director found him too young, which is funny because I think he might have been older than Cage, but that's another issue. We also
Hmm.
have Raul Julia, John Turturro, Al Pacino, and Peter Gallagher was actually very close to getting the role. But then, after a screen test with Cage, they felt that he would be best on camera with Cher. And I think they made the right decision. However, I think all of the actors I just mentioned would have been fantastic too. But that's neither here nor there. And yeah, I mean, the more I talk about this movie, the more I just want to put it on again and watch it.
Likewise.
I mean, it's just it's got such replay value, right, Tyler? I mean, it's crazy. And it's just a very well-made film with a great message and great performances. So I'm a huge fan of Moonstruck.
Me too. I mean, watching it again, I was also thinking about how much it relates to 30s romantic comedies
Mm,
because it's really sharp with its dialogue. The characters a little stereotypical, but less
mm,
stereotypical than they would be in the 30s. But comic relief, still relatable,
mm,
and there's also some complex issues going on. Only this film feels the need to dive into them more, since in the 30s you can only get away with so much. And while I'm watching it, I also feel like I'm watching a bit of a documentary,
mm.
of a family. I feel like I'm looking at a time capsule of New York. This film looks and feels genuine, authentic,
Yes.
is funny. It's corny in the right places, but also emotional that overpowers it all. And I love it. I think it's one of the greatest romantic comedies of all time. And had I not seen Leaving in Las Vegas, I would have put my money that this was Nicolas Cage's best performance. It's his second best, in my opinion, because I do love Leaving Las Vegas more as a film and as a performance. But
Mm,
Moonstruck has high rewatch value with me that I can watch in any mood
yeah.
and have a great time.
I mean, I love Cage in it too, except I think my favorite aspects are the Italian American heritage here. And
Hmm.
the scenes at the kitchen table, anytime these actors are sitting at that table, it's pure movie magic. And that's
Exactly.
that's all I'm going to say about that. Um, so I just want to tell people that you can, if you haven't seen Moonstruck, which I'm surprised if you haven't, no judgment. You can check it out. It is actually streaming everywhere, pretty much. It's on Peacock, Mubi, and you can also either rent or buy it on Amazon Prime Video. So, and it's probably on cable TV, like right now if you turn on your TV. But what I'm trying to say is you can catch this wonderful movie. It's easily accessible, and it is totally worth your time. Even if you have not seen it, if you have seen it, see it again. It's just so good. And yeah, that's Moonstruck 1987. So, We're gonna fast forward 13 years to 2000, where we're gonna talk about a very different Cage performance, very different film altogether. And this is Gone in 60 Seconds, which is a Jerry Bruckheimer production. It is a remake of the, I think it was what, 1974 Gone in 60 Seconds, which was pretty bad, I must say. I just watched it tonight and it was almost unwatchable. And that's just my opinion. It was literally watching a car wreck. And I just was very curious because I love the 2000 version and I wanted to see what the roots were and how, what was the origin of this story. But basically, in the remake with Cage at the helm here, he plays a retired car thief who is basically forced back into a life of crime to save his younger brother's life, played by Giovanni Ribisi. His younger brother gets into a big mess with a local crime boss who basically is in his specialty is stealing cars. So basically, in order to get Giovanni Ribisi out of this jam, he basically tasks Nicolas Cage's character, uh, Randall Memphis Raines, to steal 50 luxury cars in, I believe, like 3 or 4 days. And once he does that, he will release Giovanni Ribisi, his character. And yeah, it is a crazy story. It's not the most intelligent movie, but it's a really fun one. And it's got an incredible cast here. I'm just gonna rattle off some of the names here. We've got, of course, Cage, Ribisi, also a young Angelina Jolie, who was kind of just starting out. I believe she had won an Oscar just a year before for Girl Interrupted. We also have the great Delroy Lindo, who was just nominated for Sinners. Also, Will Patton's in it. Christopher Eccleston, he was one of the Doctor Who's. He plays the villain here. Also, Chi McBride and the late, great Robert Duvall, among others. Um, this movie is insane. It's got some decent visual effects. It's got some very good editing, good direction, I'd say. It's got a strong score from one of my favorite composers, Trevor Rabin, who is a frequent Bruckheimer collaborator. And again, a fun movie all the way through. It's brisk, and oh, also Timothy Olyphant. He plays Delroy Lindo's partner. They're two detectives on the case. And yeah, I'm a fan of this movie, I must say. I remember seeing it in theaters back in 2000, and it holds up. It's just a good ride, a fun ride. So Tyler, Gone in 60 Seconds. Your thoughts?
Well, respectfully, Randy, I'm on the opposite side of your opinion.
Uh-oh.
Now, I don't think the remake of Gone in 60 Seconds is horrible, and I don't think the original is a masterpiece. I just want to throw those two out there real quick.
Okay.
However, I will say what the remake has over the original is the characters are more memorable, they stand out. You also have Hollywood actors who are more notable, while the original had unknown actors. In fact, it was actually produced, directed, and starred
Mm.
a stunt driver, which I found very ambitious, but I'll get there shortly.
Okay.
And it is an entertaining movie. Like if you just love action, you want to see Nicolas Cage behind the wheel, stealing cars and getting into a car chase, you're going to get that, and you'll get an
Yeah.
entertaining film out of it. But you won't get anything of much substance because this, to me, is a generic Hollywood movie.
Hmm.
There are relationships that go nowhere or feel like an afterthought, like Nicolas Cage and Angelina Jolie's relationship.
Right.
The villain I find very uninteresting. I do like that the stakes are a little higher than the original. When in the original, it's like, yeah, you just have to get these cars by the end of the week. When here, it's like you got 4 days,
Right.
or else we're going to kill you and your brother. Which I really am glad that the film improved in some places. And really, the only scene the film really mimics is the scene with the heroine as they're trying to hide it from someone. Which
Hmm.
I feel like they're both done very well and both serve their purpose in the story well. Though I think the original had more of a purpose with it since there is a payoff to it, but I don't want to get into spoilers.
Hmm.
Um, but as a whole, the film just doesn't have that same grit as the original, and this is why I love the original so much. Now, okay, maybe that's a strong word, but in terms of story, it's not good. The acting, I can swear a lot of it was dubbed. It sounds dubbed. There are many moments where they're shot far away or you don't see their lips moving.
Mm,
You know, they're focused on an item or something. But what I love about the film is what I really enjoy about the original film is the grit it has. This
mm,
is a film that actually goes straight to the action. It gives you exactly what you come in for. I'm a sucker for 70s low budget films, so I like the overall aesthetic of it. And
hmm.
I do find that interesting in a grindhouse way.
Okay.
Um, and what's great about the film is the 40-minute car chase that takes up half of the movie, which I found very entertaining. It was not only well shot and well choreographed, but the thing is, a lot of the stuff that you see in the film were actual accidents.
Okay.
They were shooting this guerrilla film style. They were really, you saw actual cars getting wrecked. The police and the authorities were actually there. The pedestrians watching it, half of them were not actors. They were responding to this genuinely, thinking this was an actual police chase.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, with the remake, while I can't say it's awful, the film doesn't offer many car chase sequences as the original did, or that much action. At least with the original, it's action for its characters second or last, but they go straight to the action where that's the focus. It knows what it wants to be. This film tries to have meaning to it, but kind of feels a little corny in places and kind of forced.
Yeah.
And when you do see the stunt work, it's not bad. It's not that the car chase is not interesting in its own terms, but you also know that this can easily be done by computers or green screen.
Hmm.
Like there's not much of a sense of grit to it as the original, which is where I favor the original more. Again, if someone's just wanting to see a film with big name stars, want to see a little action, and are big Nick Cage fans, I definitely recommend the remake. But I do prefer the original personally, and I also think it's a more interesting film and offers more action than what you're going to get out of this movie. So it's really pick your poison.
Yeah, yeah, that's very interesting, Tom. I mean, yeah, there are more car chases, and but I think I'm more about story, and I think the remake focuses more on the brotherly love and the notion of teamwork and family and camaraderie. Uh, the original, it just literally is just car wrecks, and it took me out of it. It was just way too much. It was like a bad episode of Dukes of Hazzard stretched out into an hour and 45 minutes. I just could not get into it. I do respect the grit. I did like the look of it, but I wanted more story. I think the original lacked substance. I know that the remake is not the most intelligent movie, but it had characters that I actually kind of cared about. And to turn a criminal into a sympathetic hero almost, that's kind of a challenging a feat. And I think that the filmmakers in the remake did a good job in accomplishing that. So in that respect, I do prefer the remake to the original. And I don't know. I like the list of cars too. I also like the fact that they named them all ladies' names. That was cute too. Eleanor is now etched in my mind as that gray Mustang. And I'm not really a car guy, but this movie,
Either.
yeah, it's a nice little education too in terms of different types of models and different aspects of a car's construction and the technical aspects. They talk about laser cut keys for the Mercedes from Hamburg, very specific terminology, and I think it's just a fun movie. The Eleanor is just it's depicted really well, and it's the car that looks like it's designed specifically for Memphis Reigns, and yeah, I love these characters so much. They're so fun.
I can understand your perspective personally well. And I'm kind of looking at these films for what they are as well, because clearly one knows what it is. The original knows it's an all-out action film. It's an
Mm,
all-out car theft movie. Therefore, that didn't really bother me. And I do prefer story. I do.
mm,
But when you go into an action film, I'm expecting to see some good action too.
right.
And it just didn't hold up. And I feel like I've seen these characters so many other times before that while they're not badly performed or anything like that, there's nothing about them makes me say, oh yeah, I want to get to know them, or I'm going to
Yeah.
remember this performance years later. Again, so it really just depends on what you're looking for and what you're into.
Yeah,
Either or, I think you're going to be entertained with whatever film you pick.
and I think they could have expanded upon the characters in the remake. I mean, they did a pretty good job between Memphis and Kip. Kip is Giovanni Ribisi's character. I do like
Hmm.
the brother. It's and here that's interesting. Moonstruck had a brother dynamic too. Here we have this kind of a similar situation, not really, but you know what I mean. Um, the love the love story between Angelina Jolie's character and Cage was very forced, very awkward, and kind of unnecessary. I didn't really buy it. Um,
Me neither.
but she was very hot at the time. She was a very popular actress at this time. So it seems like they kind of just threw her in for to get audiences and to get butts in the seats basically. And I get it. It makes sense. It's a marketing thing. So I'm going down the list here. Robert Duvall was painfully underused here.
Yes.
Um, he plays Memphis's mentor, and he was just a brilliant actor in everything he did. I wanted more of him here. Same goes for Delroy Lindo and Timothy Oliphant. They had an almost like this kind of like a 1970s detective duo vibe about them. You know what I mean? Kind of
Hmm.
comical yet masculine, and they were hot on the tail of Memphis. And I would love to have seen kind of maybe a spin-off TV series with those two. I think that would have done really well. But that's neither here nor there. We also have Will Patton, who had worked with Jerry Bruckheimer previously, 2 years previously in Armageddon. Very good actor. I think he was used well here. And we have a Vinnie Jones who is silent throughout most of the film. Spoiler. And Chi McBride, Scott Caan. Just Frances Fisher is in the film for 2 scenes. I don't even think she said one sentence in this movie. People probably know her best. She was Rose's mom in Titanic, and she plays Robert Duvall's, I guess, girlfriend or wife here in this movie. And it's just, again, strong cast. They didn't really have a lot to do, unfortunately, and that's a shame. But we did get a decent performance from Cage, and again, a fun movie. I enjoyed it. I really did. I'm glad we selected this one for part three of Rattling the Cage. And there are actually two other films that Cage did with Jerry Bruckheimer. The first being The Rock in 1996. Then he followed that a year later with Con Air, two very ridiculous action movies, which are kind of in the same vein as Gone in 60 Seconds. So if you want to check those out, feel free. We might do The Rock in the future. It's a strong maybe. I'm just letting everyone know now. But yeah, let's see here. So yeah, Nicolas Cage, he is a very enigmatic actor. He's always delivering something new. And at 62 years old, 62 years young, I should say, he's still cranking them out. He's doing a lot of good work. And yeah, I think that about wraps it up for Rattling the Cage Part 3. Uh, so yeah, we're gonna continue with this series for Part 4 in maybe a few weeks. But before we head out, Tyler, any plugs for you? Anything you want to mention tonight?
Well, if you on my blog, which is called Tyler the Movie Maniac, my most recent review is me diving into the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So you
Nice.
can find that on my blog, which is Tyler the Movie Maniac. You also can follow me on Instagram where I post like little reviews and stuff or fun facts of the same name as my blog.
Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate that. Also, for Under the Radar, you can check out Under the Radar on Slam Radio through SiriusXM channel 145. And that's Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern and Saturdays at 5 a.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Eastern. Also, the video version of Under the Radar can be seen on Manhattan Neighborhood Network every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And also, feel free to subscribe to the Under the Radar YouTube channel. Subscribe and share the love. Also, you can check out Under the Radar on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you find your podcasts and listen to them. So, Tyler, thank you so much, good sir. You're awesome. This was so much
So
fun.
are you.
Thank you. And this was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to
It
talk to
was.
you again. This is great.
Likewise, I'm really excited to do another one with you. Can't wait to rattle the cage some more down the line.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I'm Randy Younger. This has been Under the Radar, where we talk all things film. We'll see you next time. Take care.